Good morning and good evening. Welcome to this week's Circle of Harmony, where the topic is we're starting a new topic this week. The topic is self worth. Basically, am I established in myself? So, just reflecting on that because a lot of me is hidden behind veils in the subconscious that I don't see unless I actively go and look for it. A lot is hidden from me, but with grace, with alertness, with mindfulness, and with a determination for purification, I do get to see so much more that I can let go of if it's meant to be and if I want to. So, starting this session with invocation, invocating the divine Mother Sri Aurobindo's presence and aspiring and praying for flexibility, suppleness, openness, courage to be able to see, acknowledge, accept, and then to let go of whatever it is that I would need to let go right now in my life. Thank you. Now, Yuhuan, your cover picture is so live. I was wondering how you are having that expression for so long without moving. And then I realized, oh, it's a picture. So good job there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So hoping to have a more, you know, dialogue based session so that more of it can come out for more of us. And I'm hoping that we understand, the basic topic that I usually need a lot of assurances from outside, right? Like I need some level of approvals and nods and, oh, you did good, or there's something in me which is looking for that nudge, that, oh, some smile, some go right ahead, I'm behind you kind of a thing. And this, I'm realizing more and more, makes us very limited in what we can do, what we need to do. It's like, I'm cutting my own horizons if I'm sticking with things like that unless I get approval, unless I get, I don't know what words to use. Suddenly not much is coming to me. But yeah, so a lot of me, a lot of time is, instead of being grounded in myself, is looking outside to prove something to myself that I am okay, I'm doing fine. So that proof is not coming from within. That proof is coming from, I'm looking for it outside. Say, for example, I had briefly met someone who would get very anxious. We were working in an environment where people would get angry easily. So she would be very anxious that, oh my God, what if somebody scolds me? What if somebody scolds me? What if somebody scolds me? But the question, the point is that, yes, what if somebody scolds me? So what? But as children, this scolding is kind of considered quite, oh, you did something wrong. But by our ages, if we are still looking, if somebody can come and just say something and we totally go down, and if somebody comes and praises us when we go up, there's not much grounding that means taken place. I mean, it's a tough thing because we have grown up with that, but maybe we can do a little better by self-reflecting on this. That why does that happen? I keep reading quotes, I keep reading things that say, you're not the weather, you are the sky. But if every weather is affecting me quite strongly, then I have to question that am I living as the sky or the weather, kind of. So that was an introduction. I don't know if it was clear or, I mean, it was clear in my mind. Sounded jumbled when it was coming out. But if there's any reflection, anything on the topic before I mean, as we are delving in about how is it, why is it, or maybe it's not for some of us that the outside comments, looks, judgments, they trouble us, they affect us. Why am I not grounded within and let things just flow? So requesting comments or reflections or questions at this stage, if any. Okay. So I had come across, a very small video. I think we'll start with that. That would open up the ground for maybe more reflection. So let's begin with that.
Early age to make our sense of self-worth conditional upon some kind of external criteria which can be judged by others. Because of this, self-compassion becomes a challenge because self-compassion requires a natural ability on your part to be able to deal with your failures as well as success with understanding, acceptance, and kindness. The problem I see with the self-esteem movement particularly is that self-esteem movement again kind of plays into this tendency to make your sense of worth conditional upon what you achieve, and inevitably that involves comparison with others, and there's also a moral problem there because in order to boost your self-esteem sometimes you need to put down others in your mind, whereas self-compassion doesn't require any of that. What self-compassion is suggesting is that you should be able to do the same thing that you normally do to someone.
Yeah, is the volume clear? It's as loud as it can be, but I'm okay. Yeah. So yeah, this is maximum. Sorry about that.
That you care towards yourself. And the beauty of that is that once you have that kind of ability to relate to your own situation with kindness, it creates a kind of a reservoir of strength and resilience so that you have plenty to draw from. Because otherwise, if your compassion is always other directed and you do not take care of your own needs and your own well being, at some point this kind of leads to compassion fatigue, and even in some cases, when the relationship does not work and when there is not enough recognition from coming from the recipient side, you might even feel betrayed and let down and used, and ultimately even feeling bitterness. So having a greater base of self-compassion really buffers against all of these potentially negative consequences of being always too much other focused.
Yeah. So the volume was a little here and there. So apologies for that. So I hope we got a little bit from that small video about why my centers so many times are outside and how it can lead that all my strength is coming from outside. Or, I mean, inviting, I mean, if there's anything on this, anybody would want to share. Okay. Once I'd heard a talk, and in which somebody was sharing that how when first time, some Westerner was sharing about self-worth issues or self-hatred issues or not being established in oneself, when he was trying to explain it to Dalai Lama, he was very confused. He couldn't understand what that means. Like, what does it mean that if one feels worthless? Like he couldn't understand that. So for him, the translator had to, really kind of do a very hard job. Okay, this is what he means, and then he was like, oh, okay, that is also a possibility. So it's not an inherent thing. It's a cultural thing. It's a society thing. It's, where we are, that we constantly need to prove ourselves, right? And that's exhausting, that's tiring, that's limited. But a lot of us, of a lot of how we are directed, our advertisement, do this because you're worth it. Like, thank God it's Friday, that you've worked the whole week, so Friday you can take these things off. We have discussed this before, it's sounding repetitive to me. But where is my worth placed? In whose eyes? In whose words? In whose gestures? In what gestures? That's what I'm just requesting us to reflect on and share, if anything. Yeah.
Yeah, Tabu, hi.
Yeah. Hi, Meera.
Hi. I think all of us would have a lot to say about this, I guess. And it's something very interesting because, as you said, like society, okay, let's talk about something like education, right? So, even like while you're preparing for an exam, so everything is on like doing well and how much you have worked hard for it. And let's say someone who is not preparing or like is not struggling as much as the other, and he still ends up, let's say, scoring well, and for some reason the worth of that person is always lower because he has not struggled enough or he has not done enough in order to be able to rejoice it. But actually that state of ease or that state of I can just be what I am is very lacking. From like education you move on to, let's say, a job, right? So somebody is very comfortable, let's say, doing a 9 to 5 job, which is giving them the compensation that they are looking for. But another person at the same time is that what is he doing? He's just doing only a 9 to 5 job, and it's he doesn't sort of, let's say, deserve to go on. I mean, he look at his life, it's so relaxed, he can go on vacations, things like that. But actually it's just not about proving how hardworking you are or how much you're struggling to go on a vacation or to be at ease with yourself. It's always thought about as if, like, you have to prove to someone that you're struggling quite a bit in order to have that self-worth or to have that freedom. And it ingrains, I mean, I think I'm blabbering quite a bit, but what I'm trying to say is that it also becomes to you that your self-worth is getting assessed by someone. At the end of the day, even now, sometimes I think about it, like, and I reflect after I read somewhere about the self-worth, that why am I doing this? Actually, I don't need to prove myself to anybody. I don't need to struggle. I can be at ease on my own. But because like these so many years unconsciously it has already happened, it's like so difficult to recognize it beyond, like, you only recognize it after some time. It's not the initial thing. So yeah, I'm not sure if it was clear what I said, but
No, no, it was absolutely clear, at least to
okay.
me. Yeah, absolutely. And I think your last point is what I was also trying to say, but I think you said it much better, that we don't even realize we are doing it because we have been doing it. It's like we have been running after that carrot for so long, and there are so many carrots out there that we fancy that we don't even realize. And this is why a lot of times there's so much confusion in our minds and our hearts, right? Like if somebody says, okay, like, that is why so much self worth issues, because we don't know why we are doing what we are doing. Why to do this? Everybody is doing this. Why are you doing this? Because everyone says this has to be done. This is the definition of success. This is the definition of settlement. So there is not me here. It's just everybody, everybody, everybody. And because I'm not everybody, I'm me. I have to connect within and see what I want to do, right? Or why am I doing this? And because most of my decisions, or sadly to say, the main focus of my life is not coming from a true center. It's not going towards anything strong, anything that I believe in. That is why confusion and किसी ने ये बोल दिया, somebody said this, somebody that, and I slipped and I fall and I trip and then I cry that nobody cares about me, nobody cares about what I'm doing. But if I don't care about what I'm doing and I'm just doing things, looking here and there what everybody is doing, it's sounding silly, but that's what most of us do. Then I'll be very easily moved by everything. Otherwise, how can I be moved, right? So easily, so easily, so easily. How can I be moved? How can I be working for things just because for a pat on the back or for to say, see, this is someone who'll get ahead. These are the things we live for. If we have got five, six of these comments of when people have truly appreciated us, they are, like plaques, they are lying on our chest. Like those are the medals which are not visible. But if I reflect, there are those things that I really hold on to. It makes me feel that I'm doing something right. But it's a bit childish, is what I want to say. There's nothing wrong in it, but it's like I deserve more, right? I can live bigger. I can live bigger than this because we don't even realize, it seems innocent, it seems harmless, but the way these things are directing my life, these approvals, how to keep everyone happy. Nothing wrong with it, but a lot of time I am numbing myself, shunning myself, stopping myself, curtailing myself so that I don't, step out of those lines. And I do keep increasing those lines and I feel I'm doing good. And yet there is something in me which says, no, no, that person won't like it, don't do it. Or that would not be approved. That's just too loud, too big, too this. And I make myself small. So, yeah. I had shared the poem with my dad. I wanted him to check the Hindi errors and all. So he reminded me of a very beautiful doha that used to be written in one of the calendars he got printed. It's from Sur Das, so I just share it at this point. It's a bit tough. So it says, मन तोसो किति कई समझाई, that hey, my mind, my heart, I have tried to teach you or explain to you this several times, like Surdas is saying this to his mind. Nand Nandan ke charan kamal bhaj, that like why the feet, the lotus feet of the god, that's what you should be worshipping. Jhadi Pakhand Chaturai, that now you leave your cunningness and smartnesses and your intelligence. Why don't you leave that intelligence now? Janmat Marat Bahut Jug Beete. Like I've taken so many births, I've died so many times, and even now I'm not ashamed of myself. Like Abhihu Lad Na Ai, सूरदास भगवत भगत बिनु जैसे जन्म गवाई. So I have sacrificed, I have wasted life after life after life, but now leave your intelligence, your smartness, your these things that I keep doing here and there behind, and now do the right thing so that this birth don't waste more births. So it was worded very beautifully how Tulsidas, or sorry, Surdas is kind of scolding himself that, oh God, oh mind, oh heart, why don't you understand that enough of intelligence done? This is a sort of intelligence, right? I think I am being intelligent and I am looking for it here, there, there, there. My volume is low. Okay. I just changed my headphones. Nahi, 1 second.  1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, is that one thing? No, no,
No, not audible.
I'm not audible.
No, now you are.
Okay. So is it better the sound or it's worse? Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So I don't know. Should I repeat that Doha or it was clear? You could hear it, na? So it was just about making better decisions, choosing better ways, higher ways, bigger ways to life. Yeah. Yeah. Anything by if any. Yeah.
So, so I think one thing is that as you were touching upon the point is especially in unpleasant situations, maintaining your self-worth becomes very conflicting or it's very difficult to do. So while you know that you have to hold your stand, uh, it may it's a very conflicting thing because sometimes it is said that uh, holding your stand can be looked to be arrogant, but actually holding your stand can only be standing up for what you believe in, which is just not a very arrogant thing to do. So that itself is a very ironical thing. So let's say someone is abusive of me or someone is not pleased of me, like as you said, that conflict always arises, that there's something that wants to please someone and that invariably takes a hit on my self-worth. So I don't know, I just want to hear more reflections to see how do you get out of it.
I think one thing for me is there that because I'm not convinced of myself, of what I'm doing, although I feel I am, but there's some level of doubt somewhere. So this is why I feel that the approval or the yes or the nod has to come from outside. That's one of the things that strikes me, that there's somewhere where I am not sure. Otherwise, it would not happen as much as it happens. Yeah, Jagan, I think you were unmuting when I started speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, this book, Our Many Selves, it gives a little bit of idea, um, or I could take a little bit of idea. Is when I say self, or when I talk about self-worth, I sometimes find that I'm not even talking about myself at all. I'm talking about something that is not even me. And it in this book, it says that there are many selves, like not two, three, but there are hundreds of selves in a being that live in their own judgment, and they have conflicting, you know, uh, ideas about each other, and they kind of always argue with each other, and there is no harmony. So, I think to Mira's question, I think here I'm not even saying this. It's written in the book. It says that to be more observant, like for me, I'm talking about myself. That to be more observant as to how I'm feeling or how I'm reacting to something, to have become more of a witness, to see every day. And Mother says that here it says that one has to become fully aware of each and every self within oneself, to have that mastery of oneself. And only when that happens, she says that the soul, the psychic being, all these selves, and then unify with the psychic being, and then they start listening. And somehow, I know, for me, that really answers a very big question, because I have identified with all these selves, like not one self, different selves, so many years, and this really helps me. Like, you know, okay, hi Snehi. I'm referring to this book called Our Many Selves. Um, I can send a picture in the group later on. So yeah, and I have also an experience to share. Um, Growing up, I had a cousin in Visakhapatnam, very, very nice kid. Um, I remember this distinctly that we both and my and his parents went to this doctor, and I was in my ninth standard and he was in his seventh standard. So the doctor looked at him and he said, "Oh, you look like a good boy. You look like a really nice boy." And he gave him medicines. Then he looked at me. He said nothing, like absolutely nothing. I was like, what did I do wrong? I was also a kid. And then I saw my mom also being excited about the things he said, but he was like, okay, let me just do my work. But I talked. And went on for years. I was complaining about these for years, and it took me like, I think, 13, 14 years before I realized that, you know, that approval was not needed for me to be happy. But again, it took 14 years. Why should I take so many years? So, yeah, so for me right now is to just sit and observe myself very, very closely and to see that. Because, yeah, I'll stop here. Thank you.
Yeah, Jagan, you said something like really bang on, is that approval was never needed, right? But somehow we are being raised that ways, consciously or subconsciously, that we feel that these words, these pats on the backs are what makes me a good person, are what makes me is what make it's like as a child, say if you're in ninth grade, it's justified, for example. But like you said, it took you 14 years to realize that it wasn't needed, right? Like, and so what it I don't know brings me to is that there's so much energy of my life that I'm spending where firstly it's not giving me anything, secondly it's making me weak, and thirdly, because I have limited energy, that's all I'm spending it somewhere where it's not making me progress, where it's just it's a cycle, it's a loop, and somehow it feels that that's how kind of Maya works, right? It keeps us engaged, that okay, just focus on this. Oh, that person said this to you. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, 10 days gone, for example, or 2 hours gone. For major decisions of our lives we are taking up because what will people say, what will he say, she say, whatever. And here there is, say for example, Mirabai, who says, mere to girdhar gopal dusro na koi, right? Like she knows that okay, this is it, he is my everything, and now come what may. Her husband, her parents, her in-laws, they are like, I don't know about her parents, what they had done, but in general, from the in laws side, what all did she not hear? Their stories on stories, right? What all has she not been called? And yet, it was come what may. So, what in my life do I even have one thing in my life that I believe in with that fervor that come what may? And I mean something good, not some, there could be something totally not needed, and I could be like, nahi, mujhe to karni hai. So I'm not talking about stubbornness, I'm not talking about, these things, but something do I have, big or small, which I say, no, this is non negotiable, this is right, and come what may. And even, in this case, and I think I'd shared it once also, I'm just reminded of it, that after her husband passed on, because he kind of protected her still, her, I guess, her in-laws and especially her husband's elder brother really was torturing her mentally and verbally. So she had written to Tulsi Das a beautiful letter that what do I do? All my loved ones, they are saying this, they are saying that. And then Tulsi Das has this beautiful reply where he's saying that if the people, they are not one with God, those people you don't have to worry about. You do what you are doing. It, the one who has not been able to become gods, why would you listen to them? They are not your people. You are saying they are your people, they are not yours. You live, you're doing the right thing. So it's a beautiful letter. I'll share it on the group if people are interested. But yeah, it just talks about the determination, the love, the confidence that yes, it's a non-negotiable. I cannot not do that. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? Anything that we see that where we are selling ourselves to again comments and approvals.
Yeah, another thing is, um, like I said, 14 years, right? So the learning out of this is that I identified myself with that thought that why is not people, you know, why are not people approving me? I thought that is me. That that thought, that question is being asked by me to me. But when I realized that it's not me, it's something else that's asking this question, and that the guilt or that the pain, that's what the food is, and that's what they use to keep me around them. So now every time when if I ask myself that what is my self-worth, if I, every time this even question comes, and I can just say that this is not my question, this is not even me, this is something else, I don't have to attend to it. And it's really liberating, very much. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Devi.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jagan. Everyone said a lot of interesting and different points. I was remembering some experience that the mother said uh, when she arrived to the supramental world, where the beings came in a ship, kind of a vision she had uh, on the supramental world that is to come. And she said that, uh, there, if you wanted to wear something like clothes, then you just materialize it with your own spiritual self, something like that. Like everything was transformed by the spiritual conscience itself. And she said that in contrast here in our world, we give worth to things that have no value, and maybe a lot of people with a lot of internal value are in a position of worth. That like the values here are very twisted and, and clouded, and I've resonated with what Jagan said, like in the sense that probably we cannot measure really our internal value or the others, right? Like all we can measure is something more external. Of course, we can, it's a competitive world, and sometimes we can just look at the outside of things and be competitive about external things, but that it's very shallow. Also, it was nice when you told Taru about Dalai Lama. The Buddhist tradition says that to have a human life is it's a treasure, like it's an invaluable opportunity. And Sri Aurobindo and the mother says the same, like this human life is the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to develop our soul, and this only we have on earth, like humans. So to it has an inherent, very deep value to exist, to be a human being. I guess as long as we see ourselves as separate individuals, the comparison is inevitable in some way. But if we go inside, if we know the inherent value of life, of our real self, then there is no competition with others. Like if I am in touch with the with myself, this self-worth, this value is also the value of the worth of everyone else, because we all share this, this worth. Thank you everyone for all you share.
Yeah, thank you, Juan. Thank you. I really resonate with what you said about competition, especially, when you said it is a competitive world, and till it is a competitive world, the comparisons would come. And, it surprises me that, it's okay, I hear this sentence, right? It is a competitive world. And everything in my being resonates like, yes, yes, it is, it is. And what if the statement was reversed, right? It is not, there is no competition. Each one for him, there's no competition. The only thing that I'm responsible, the only one I'm responsible is for myself. My competition is against me. Would something change in me, right? Like, what am I agreeing to? What am I buying so easily, even if it's prevalent? But right now, if I am on a path towards more self, realization, some self discovery, maybe it's time for me to look at these statements, these beliefs that I am believing, which would be true. And yet they are not the truth, right? There are things that I can now let go of. And even for you, Juan, how you had shared that you were leaving the city and you're moving into some countryside, and how everyone was must have reacted and had been shocked by your move. So those things take a lot of courage, yeah, right? Like somebody who totally believes in getting these approvals and nods, that person won't be able to make those moves. And to make those moves, one has to come out of these definitions, these beliefs that we are so strongly and so blindly carrying. That if somebody says, oh, you're doing this because you want approval, I'll be like, are you crazy? But if I sit with myself and trace the roots of a lot of things that I do, yes, that's true. But I would not acknowledge that. But it's possible that I might not even know it fully. So, yeah, good to see these and then challenge and sit with oneself, because that is needed, right? If practically I want to make changes, if I want to change my life, how I'm living, it would need time, it would need honesty, it would need for me to have these questions, the right questions, to let go of the unnecessary that I am carrying. Yeah, inviting more reflections. I don't think there'll be any of us who would not have, these issues or looking out. So how do we do it? Do we see it? We don't see it. Yes, Sham.
Yeah, Taru, like you said that what if non-negotiable? Then Taru, my own mental peace and tranquility is non-negotiable. No matter whatever the outward circumstances be, and no matter whatever other people's action and words and deeds be, because those things I can't control. Then like self-worth, you said that my self-worth doesn't depend on anything else, on any outward thing. Like for example, the kind of family, maybe no, the kind of family from which we all hail from, तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि हम लोग उसको बहुत we create a hello bello kind of thing कि this आदमी आईआईटी में चला गया, आईवी लीग में एडमिशन मिल गया and all that, but at the end of the day he also does a job only, maybe he may be earning more or something like that. या फिर हम लोग कहते हैं कि जल्दी कस के दौड़ो, तेज दौड़ो, ओनली द क्रीम डीला क्रीम विल सर्वाइव एंड ऑल दैट, जो जीता वही सिकंदर एंड ऑल दिस मूवीज दे कीप परपेचुएटिंग दैट नोशन दैट अगर कस के नहीं तोड़ोगे देन यू विल बी लेफ्ट बिहाइंड एंड ऑल दैट। फिर बाद में पता चलता है कि जो कस के दौड़ने वाला था वो भी उसने भी कोई बहुत बड़ी तीर नहीं मार ली, या जो आईआईटीएन था वो भी बहुत बड़ा तीर नहीं मार लिया, ही ऑल्सो लैंडेड एट द सेम प्लेस। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई मस्ट नॉट बी सेइंग दैट बट माई रूमी इज एन आईआईटीएन एंड वी बोथ हैव लैंडेड एट द सेम प्लेस। देन देन आपने कहा कि व्हाट यू कॉल, देन आई नीड टू बिलीव दैट impermanence is the key to life. Okay, that maybe today I am craving for this thing, tomorrow it may not hold any relevance for me. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई डोंट नो अबाउट यू और अदर्स, बट बचपन में एक गोल्ड स्पॉट नाम का एक कोल्ड ड्रिंक आता था, ठीक है, दैट वॉज माई फेवरेट कोल्ड ड्रिंक, बट आज उसकी नामो निशान भी नहीं है। आज हम खोजना भी चाहे तो उसको नहीं खोज सकते हैं, लाख कोशिश के बावजूद भी। But while I was a child, I was very much attracted to that cold drink, and my mother would take me every weekend to have a sip of it. And all और भी बहुत सारी चीज है, लाइक देयर दैट वेट टिल फ्राइडे, WTF का कंसेप्ट था हम लोग के कॉलेज में, बट आज उसका कोई औचित्य नहीं है मेरे लिए। इट इज अनदर थिंग दैट हैज पास्ड बाय मी, एंड हु नोस टुमारो आई विल टू पास बाय इट। Then you get to know that everything in life is perishable. Like I'm a perishable entity. My mommy was a perishable. My mommy died and all that. Then you can the people whom you love, you can create a negative feeling that maybe if tomorrow they die, then I will bear it in a very calm and graceful manner. For example, Julius Caesar में भी ये बात आती है ना कि Brutus's wife Portia died, and he bore it in a very calm and graceful manner. But many times we keep losing that calmness and grace. In the eye of a storm, we behave differently. And many times that is not itself that eye in the storm, that is a bubble in a glass cup kind of thing. Then what else is coming to me? अब बाद में बात करता हूँ, ठीक है?
Yeah, thank you, Sham. When you started what you said about the non-negotiable, again, we say that yes, my peace is non-negotiable or should be non-negotiable. And yet, if say I just said the statement, right? Like my peace is non-negotiable, and somebody right away says that what's wrong with you? What are you doing? Then I suddenly, I don't know, either accuse or feel bad, withdraw within, or lash out. So it shows that it is not non-negotiable, and that's something I have to work with, right? Work towards. Like whatever I've been wanting to truly learn, truly grow with, I work towards that and it comes. You said something so beautiful that how things pass by you and you pass by some things. So that's all just natural course of events. But there are things that you can willfully, dynamically cross now, right? If you see there is no meaning to those. So the competition that you were talking about, that how, there's somebody from IIT and then there's you who didn't go to IIT and you're ending up at the same place, and who knows, you will end up somewhere better. But who decides better? What is the definition of who's where? What is better? What is good for you? What is good for him? And I personally know so many people who have done things from amazing universities like IIT and all, and they are like that they would never wish it for anyone. Like they are putting their kids in, non-schooling schools that, live. Like life means so much more than these stupid competitions, these Monday tests, Friday tests, Wednesday tests that we keep putting ourselves in. And after having been done it to them, they don't want their children to be going through the same grind. So these definitions, these values that we put, or a Harvard, Yale, Columbia, IIT, and you meet people and you see that, again another image I was carrying. Yeah. Yeah, Snehi, I didn't understand your comment. Would you like to unmute and share it? It was really about what?
Oh, so regarding what you said about Harvard and IIT, right? Like parents studying in these institutions and then not wanting their children to go through similar experiences. Because I am at a stage in life where these institutions is like the dream, right? And there's this image that if you land there, then life is sorted. So yeah, I think it's a little, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, these images that we are holding on to, these larger than life things. It's even shocking to hear that, yeah, these are possibilities. And yet, we never see complete pictures, right? We look at lives at, just snapshots. Okay, this section, oh, this looks great. After going there, see, he's the CEO of that, or he's a business manager there, and he must be happy. That's our conclusion, right? That okay, there is this big smile on his face, and look at the power he has, and he must be happy. But the truth is, if I'm not happy here right now, there's nowhere I will be happy. That happiness is very short lived. That is based on, these things, these achievements. So if I'm happy here, if I'm at peace here, I will be happy and at peace everywhere. But a Harvard, a Yale, a IIT would not, those are not keys to happiness, right? Those are just mere achievements, worldly terms, right? So if my goal, if my non-negotiable is to be happy, to be grounded within, it has to start right now. Again, I find it so amazing. I keep saying it and I apologize for that. But like say Sri Aurobindo, right? When people met him, when they were in front of him during the darshan days, what all did they have to say about? For most of them, it was just consistent that it was like they're sitting in front of the king of the kings. So there is this man with a simple dhoti and I don't know, kurta or whatever shirt he would be wearing, or maybe nothing, just dhoti, sitting in a simple house in a simple sofa on a simple sofa, technically owning nothing much. And whoever is standing in front of him, he is feeling that, oh my God, like he is the true king, for example. So imagine what we need to have that assurance, to live like a king. somewhere in the society, in our upbringings, I don't know how it got so twisted that we have always felt that I have to achieve to be someone. And that's why this grasping, this greed, this what am I getting? What am I getting? What am I getting from here, there? This isi mai pura, the whole life is wasted in that. And there he's sitting that, oh, I need nothing, right? He hardly needed anything. There's so many instances when, mother forgot to even give him lunch, which he used to get at 3 p.m. Like he was waking up at 4, or maybe he wasn't even sleeping. His lunch breakfast time was 3 p.m. and mother would go into a trance or get busy, and 9 o'clock she would remember, oh, she or window, like not many times, but there have been instances, and happily he's sitting, nothing doing. And he is being called the king of kings. Like, if that is not beautiful, what is? So, if I can at least know this, maybe not even believe in it fully, but at least get into my consciousness that I would not get it out there. It has to be established inside first. I think that would maybe shift something in me. I would still go for the same things. But if I'm going, reaching out for a comb and saying that if I comb with this, it will make my hair golden, that would not happen, right? I would reach out for a comb and say, okay, it will make my hair less messy, for example. So then I will not be haunted by the traumas of the event that I spent 15 years looking for that comb, and I found that comb and my hair are not golden yet. And then I'll cry about it, that, why did it happen? So at least I'll face facts for facts. I'll see things for what they are. Yeah. This is the first session, so this is mostly for just kind of, stirring things, moving things a little bit so that we can think more consciously about these things. But I would really request, because we'll be taking up the same topic next week, to please sit with this if we have time, and take out time if we don't have it. Maybe give it 5 minutes every day and think about where all am I placing my self worth and why. Just reflect on it. We don't have to share it, but for ourselves to see a mirror more clearly with less veils if possible, that what am I doing, why am I doing it, what is my happiness based on. Anything, just picking up one thing and reflecting on it might show us some things that have been hidden from us. And Sham, please, sorry, you're done muted.
Yeah, Taru, my roomie have a quote from Albert Einstein. He's saying that if you want to live a happy life, base it on a goal, not on people or things. Then he's saying that all this IIT dream and Ivy League dream, these are all people or things. And the people on whom we seek approval, they are also people who are a perishable entity like we.
Yes, thank you, Sham. Jagan, are you unmuting? I don't know. Or
No, I'm just I listened to Snehi, talking about this university. If I can get there, life settle jayegi. I finished my education, and I will share an experience that before the flight took off to Canada, I was in the flight, and I remember this very clearly, looking out of the window and telling myself that now your life will change. And I was so happy because I was told this is a land of opportunities, and so many things can be done. And I did justice to that. Like, I explored everything, I did everything. And materially, if I want to say, then yes, life is sorted, much sorted than it was before. And it can be sorted materially. Yet, this self-worth thing, I think it comes many times in life where, I ask the same question, what is my worth? And again, now also it comes. Now, that achievement, although that was the dream, you know, then that kind of is being replaced with something else. So yeah, just to be like, again, I would really say that always follow your dreams, go wherever you want, but just I would like to keep an open mind and just be open for many things, because Sri Aurobindo, or even like the current example, like Acharya Prashant Ji, like they have such great education, IITs, IIMs, you know, yet they chose a very different path. So I think being that, having that flexibility, I'm learning again. When I'm saying this, I'm telling myself this, that to be more flexible to opportunities, different chances to, yeah, I'll stop.
Yes, Jagan. Thank you. So we can end. Just before the session, I had a few minutes. I was looking up at some quotes. Maybe we can end with a quote to give us more direction. So this is something from, supposedly from Buddha. So it says, your mind will always believe everything you tell it. Feed it faith, feed it truth, feed it with love. Just have to believe something. Let me choose the truth that expands me than the truth that constricts me. We feel it. Like if I say, oh, it's a big bad world which is coming out to get me, I feel that constriction in my being. Very strongly, I feel it if I'm a little bit attentive. And if I say that, oh, the universe is for me and not against me, everything is helping me to be where I am, suddenly I feel an expansion. I feel a peace in my heart. So I might say it's stupid. I might say it's a lie. That's not true. But what good is the truth which is taking me down? And how beautiful is a lie, even if it's a lie, which is making me more expanded, bringing more faith and truth in my life. So let's go beyond the definitions that have been given to us, and let us be more and feed ourselves with more truth and more faith. If still we have to, right, feed ourselves with something, because there would be time when we would not need that. But we do need these things right now. So let me choose the highest that I am capable of choosing. Let me aspire for my self-worth to be firmly rooted in me and not outside. Yeah, so we'll end the session here today, and we'll meet again on a regular time. I'll post that. So thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, would you like to say something, Acharya?
No, thank you.
Okay,
That's so beautiful.
So thanking Grace, thanking Divine for the grace of such sessions, this company, this mind which wants to know more, do more, be more. May it succeed. May it be able to let go of the unnecessary that is in my life to make it simpler, purer, more towards the truth. Praying this for myself and everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.